Welcome to Mindset Mastery Moments, the best growth mindset podcast recognized by Million Podcasts and ranked as a top mindset podcast by FeedSpot. We're proud to be in the top 1% on Listen Notes. Join Dr. Alisa Whyte as we explore powerful insights and strategies to elevate your mindset. Let's dive in.
And welcome back to Mindset Mastery Moments, where we don't just talk about growth, we talk about the root of growth. I want to start with a hard truth. And here it is. Most people don't fail because they lack talent, opportunity, or even discipline. They fail because they are unknowingly living from beliefs that were formed long before they even had a choice. And those
Right.
beliefs are still running the show. Today's guest is someone I've wanted on this podcast for almost 10 months because I ran into her profile and her work in February of 2025. And her work goes where most conversations end up stopping. She doesn't help people cope with limiting beliefs. She's a disruptor. She helps eliminate them. And that distinction, you all know, is game changing for me. I believe that by all means. My guest today is Miss Shelly Lefkoe, a transformational coach, best-selling author, and founder of the Lefkoe Institute. For over 35 years, Shelly has helped more than, listen to this, 150,000 people. Said over 35 years, 150,000 people worldwide. You know what? Break free from beliefs that quietly sabotage their success in life, love, leadership, and business. Listen, she is what I aim to be. Her work has been featured in Forbes, the New York Times, and top-tier platforms, including Mind Valley podcasts. And that's one of my goals, to be on Mind Valley, right? The Dr. Mark Hyman Show and the Jim Kiwiks podcast. Shelly, listen, my dear, grow. It's quick. She'll tell us. Shelly, we are so excited to finally have you sit down with us. Thank you for giving me your Saturday, just a few hours you're giving us here in Mindset Mastery Moments. We are so happy to have this conversation, long overdue. Please, in your own words, tell us who you are, what you do, and how you disrupt disruptors.
I love that, Alyssa. I love that. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And I love your podcast. And I think everybody should give you 5 stars.
Thank you.
Yeah. So about 40, almost 40 years ago now, my late husband was looking, and everybody listen, this is very important. You know how we
Listen
all
up.
have, listen up, you know how we all have things that we know we should do and we don't do them. We know we should
Mhm.
exercise. We know we should eat healthily. We know we should be more present with people. And we're not. We're looking at our phones or we're doing, whatever we're doing and not doing what we know we should be doing. And we all have things that we are doing that we know we should stop doing, like eating junk food or texting while you drive,
Yep.
um, or staying in a relationship that you know is not nurturing and healthy. We
Yeah.
all have things where we want to become entrepreneurs and own our own business or launch that video or write that book, and we're not doing them. So Morty was looking at, why is that? People are smart. I mean, we're not stupid. We know what to
Mm.
do. At a time where nobody was talking about beliefs. People used to say, you mean religious beliefs? What do you mean beliefs? Now, I was just at you said Jim Quick. I was just at Jim Quick's Limitless conference, and there were 30 speakers, and I don't think one of them didn't use the word beliefs
With
because
beliefs.
now everybody knows that your beliefs determine your behavior, your emotions, and ultimately your reality. People who believe life is hard have hard lives. It's very simple. So I wanna, so he was on a plane looking at why this was happening and downloaded this process and came home and showed it to me. And as I say on every podcast pretty much that I do, spirit, I watched him do it and spirit knocked me off my chair And I said, I heard this voice say, "This is what you're here to do. This is your dharma." So I've been doing it for over 35 years, and um, there's never a day where I'm not in awe and gratitude of
Mm,
what I get to do with people. So we're going to talk about first what a belief is, because a
yes.
lot of people don't understand the difference between a belief and an issue or a pattern. So a
Mhm.
belief is a statement about reality that we hold as the truth. A pattern is what you want to get rid of, and it's
Yes.
generally behavioral or emotional. So you're,
Mm,
again, doing something that you don't want to do, or you're not doing something you want to do. You're feeling something you don't want to feel. You have
mm,
anxiety, you have depression, you have fear. You know, those are the issues or the patterns that you want to change. And
mhm.
underlying every one of them are beliefs. And when you get rid of the beliefs, the patterns go away. And I love what you said in the introduction. It was wonderful. You said, I don't just identify beliefs, or I
By
don't just
beliefs, yes, you eliminate them.
I eliminate them.
You don't
You
just teach
eliminate.
people how to cope, you teach them
I don't
how
teach
to
people how to
eliminate
cope.
them.
Right.
Yep,
We eliminate the beliefs so that there is nothing to cope with.
with right, right. Because who when they have if someone injures, a leg and they're using a cane or a crutch, they're not looking forward to having that crutch forever. They're going to therapy so that they can eliminate the need for a crutch. So, why on earth do we think we have to put up with belief systems or behaviors that are counterfeit to what we say we want to become and what God has created us to be? If whatever your belief, if it's God, the universe, spirit, all of it, or why you're here. I mean, if you don't want to attach to anything outside of you, if why you believe you're here, I say what you say you want to become. You don't have to put up with it. But those belief systems determines your behaviors, and those behaviors determine your outcomes. And that's why I have think, speak to become. So, Shelly, here's the thing I want you to help us understand, because so many high performers are doing all the right things. They're doing therapy, coaching, personal development, reading the books, listening to even this podcast, yet they still feel stuck. What are they missing?
So there's a couple of things. High achievers generally are not happy, or are all not happy. But what's missing is that they have become human doings and not human beings.
Drop that mic.
So when little, and
Mm,
what we get acknowledged for is achieving things, is what I call grades and goals, you
come
start
on.
thinking, what makes me good enough is achieving things.
Come on.
And so you don't feel good enough as a kid, because we all get criticized by our parents. And when you don't live up to expectations, the child says, why can't I live up to my parents' expectations? Well, I guess I'm not good enough. So now I have what I call a beach ball, a belief. I'm not good enough. And
Yes, that's a
now
beach
one
ball.
day I get acknowledged for something. And it doesn't have to
Mm-hmm.
be achievements. It could be taking care of people. It could be pleasing people. It could be a lot of different things. But we're going to talk for now about high achieving. So
Mm-hmm.
I get acknowledged for getting an A or scoring a goal, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now I win an award, I win a prize, and everybody makes a big deal, and your parents are so happy. And you conclude, what makes me good enough is achieving things. So
Mm.
now I have to keep this beach ball called I'm not good enough underwater. So as long as I'm
Yes.
achieving, the ball stays underwater. If you stop, it comes
Yes.
up in your face. And I'm going to tell you a story that a lot of you can probably relate to, which is in my book, Hitting the Wall for Entrepreneurs.
In the
It's
wall.
for everybody. It's really for
Yes.
everybody. So um, I got a call one day, actually before the internet. It's very interesting that I tell this one story because it was
Some days I
so
just want 5 days without the internet.
I want 5 minutes. Totally. So this man called me up and he said, "I have a problem." I said, "Okay, what's your problem?" He said, "I'm worth $10,000,000. I'm on the cover of business publications." He said, "I don't know my kids. My second wife is ready to leave me. I keep promising I'm gonna come home for dinner. I keep promising I'm going to, go to their plays and go to their games, and I never make it." And he said to me, "When is it gonna be enough?"
Mm,
And I said,
that's what I wanna
"Never,
ask him.
never. How many wives are you gonna lose? How many nights are you gonna feel guilty because you're not there for your
Show
children?"
up. Yeah,
But when you have the belief, what makes me important or what makes me good enough are my achievements, guess what? You can't stop working. So those are the beliefs that are mostly under workaholism. And
that
that's
is
what's
that is a bigger addiction than sometimes alcohol because you can see the downward spiral of alcoholism or any other type of drug quicker than you can see workaholism. Here's why I think, Shelly, because you keep performing for the masses and it looks really good on lights, on magazine covers, in people's bank accounts, or in outfits, in homes, in cars, and everybody is happy with it. And no one says, I'm worried about Alisa. She's always working. They
that's
don't
right.
care because they have all the other things. Now, your immediate circle, the wife, the kids are going to care. After a while, they despise you and they despise the money, the cars, the homes. But everybody else is applauding you. So you're like, man, it's just these four people and everybody else loves it. So you're like, yeah, I'm kind of going to keep going here because it's keeping me from, like you said, the beach ball coming up.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
a dangerous
But
addiction.
he-
Hit
and
us with it. Hit us with it,
here-
Shelley.
here's what's so sad about it.
Mhm.
People often say to me, there's a legacy and we leave legacies and we have generational trauma. And that is not where I go. I go to a very simple place.
Hmm.
If a
I'm leaned
child
in.
comes into this world and
Hmm.
doesn't get attention from his parents or her parents, she is going to conclude, I'm not important. Now she needs to find a way to be important. So she sees her father or her mother successful and working all the time. And she says, oh, I guess what makes me important is working all the time. And then she has the same pattern, right? So,
Mhm.
so it's very, very important to look at, particularly as a parent, what is my child concluding based on my behavior? Because it doesn't
Mm.
only affect your life, it's not your
Yes.
burnout, it's not your children are gonna conclude things based on what you do and don't do, which is where your beliefs came from. Because
Mhm.
here's the thing, I talk about in my book, I talk about watering all the plants. So if
Mm.
you had a lot of plants in your house, would you ever
I did when I
water
was growing
just
up.
one?
No, we had to do them all, and if you didn't do them right, my mother made us she wasn't happy, and we had to go do it all over again
But why do you have to water all the plants?
so that they can all live and flourish.
Good.
So easy,
Exactly.
right?
And I love that you said so they don't die, but
You're
you
right.
said it you said so they could live and flourish. And yet, we water one plant. Career. What about your relationship plant? And what about your health plant? And what
Mm.
about your hobby, free time plant? And what about
Mhm.
you have all these
Yes.
plants
Yes.
and to just water one and the rest are dying and not vibrant and alive makes no
Yes.
sense.
So, Shelley, I want you to talk about this because part of the complication or the conflict that I've been noting as I get older is with our societal change and structure, which is well needed. I believe that women and mothers should be able to choose whether they want to work or stay at home, whatever that looks like. You should have the choice. But I believe because a lot of when we look at the fact that when a child is born, and I'm going for the United States, I know there's different structures around the world, but I'm going to focus on the US because that's where we live, that's where we work, and we're one of the leading nations on the planet up until now. So here in the US, women typically, I'm petty, am I not? Women typically get, I think, 6 weeks, and some end up with 3 months maternity leave if they're a working mother. And there's no embedded, not generally speaking, men don't have a maternity leave at most corporations. So they got to get their bottoms to work. So basically, it's the mother that gets to stay home for those 6 weeks. And a lot of women, if you're not making a certain level of income, they have to find a childcare situation for that 6-week-old child. Some women will opt to take an extra 2 weeks of vacation, whatever, but the max I know of is about 3 months before they kick back to work. So someone else or an institution now has your child from about 3 months old. If this type of thing that you just laid out so beautiful, which I subscribe to at 100%, let me tell y'all, I get most of the people who come on here, I screen them and they're speaking my language. If I disagree, you will know. But what Shelly told you that is the reason why I do so much work just on myself. What is happening? Because we're not, as a mother, I'm not necessarily spending the waking hours with my child. So should our schools and childcare facilities be equipped with this type of information and understand that you are really here responsible for forming the view and the life view of another human being and taking on almost as much responsibility as a parent? Tell us what your thoughts are on that.
Oh God, it's my
I know it's
least favorite.
loaded, and
It's very loaded because yes, I
but
think
go for it.
I took off 9 years. And, when people
Mm,
say, "Oh, what do you do?" And people say, "Oh, I'm just a mother." I used to say, "I'm responsible for the physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual development of 2 human beings. I'm a professional mother."
yes.
And they say, "What? Oh, tell me more." So that the first thing is that I think being a parent is the
Mm-hmm.
most intellectually, rigorous, emotionally rigorous thing you can do. So to say
Assignment
I'm
you will
just
ever
a
have on
mother,
the planet.
yeah,
Yes.
so to say I'm just a mother is insane. Now, not
Yes.
everybody has the luxury of staying home. I understand that. And the only thing I can say is that make sure your child is in a nurturing environment. Make
Mm-hmm.
sure when you travel, you call your child from the road and you say from wherever you are and say, "Tell me about your day. I want to hear everything. I don't care if you have 10 minutes in between meetings. Tell me about the game. How did you play? Did you have fun? Was it an easy team or a hard team? Tell me everything." So just because you work doesn't mean that your child's going to have negative beliefs. And
Right.
you
Come on.
have to be conscious of what they're concluding. So you might want to say to your child, if I had my druthers, I would spend every minute of my day with you. There's nobody I would rather be with. And you don't have to say, I have to work. You can say, but there's another part of mommy that wants to be a doctor or that wants to help people or that, needs my creative outlet. But when I'm with you, you will have my undivided attention.
Make
Because I
sure that's the
promise you,
case.
if you do this, when your child is talking to you, they're not going to feel very important. So I think that if you can find somebody to be with your child that's loving and nurturing and supportive, that's awesome. If it's going to be a daycare situation, make sure that the people get that they're trained, that they don't just pay attention to the kids who are crying. Do your due diligence in finding a place for your children where they are going to be in a positive environment. And it's really important.
And I'm going to say this as a little tip because I've worked in the industry of overlooking laws and legislation and also running and licensing child care facilities and part of my journey. Don't just look at the paint on the wall, the pictures, and those little curriculum books that they will present you and charge you more than your mortgage per month. That is not going to matter if your child feels neglected because of high teacher to child ratios. They will feel partially neglected because just picture you being a woman who is responsible for 18, 24-year-olds. You could not do that. And still give them undivided attention. So know that this is the experience and understand that those quality questions, when it comes to how they interact, what they integrate, what they teach, how they handle and solve those conflicts that are happening amongst the children in the classroom, and spend time observing. That's our tip. We're not going to try to be childcare, but I'm telling you, it matters because these belief systems, and here's my question, because now we're dealing with a lot of adults who now we're doing mindset strategy work. I know this is why I say my thing is first, know your true values and core beliefs. And I'm not talking about the ones you observed or you took on in your church from your mama or your daddy only, because those are the ones that are there. You have to test them and connect with each of them on an individual level to check to see if they're truly yours and they hold true for you. That's my theory. But here's what I'm going to ask you, because a lot of people think that when you hear Mindset Mastery Moments, the podcast, oh, we're teaching you about mindset. Yes, we are. But it's not the method of mastering your mindset is where Shelly and all of us intersect these belief systems. Why do mindset strategies fail long-term, Shelly? And the second question to that is give us the difference between changing behavior and eliminating beliefs.
Yeah. So your first question is very powerful. Why do most mindset techniques not work? So imagine everyone listening. You come into this world and you say, Mommy, look what I did. And she goes, not now, honey, I'm busy. And then you come around later and go, Mommy, I have to tell you what happened. And she said, wait till I get off the phone, not now. And that keeps happening. Here's the thing. You not only conclude I'm not important, or what I have to say is not important. Now listen, this is very, very, very important. It feels like you saw I'm not important. So when I say to people, did you ever see I'm not good enough? They go, as a kid, every day of my life. Now, you can see my iPhone, right? You can see my cup.
Yeah.
You cannot see I'm not good enough. You can see parents criticizing you. You can see an F on your report card. You can see your father saying you're not good enough. But you can't see I'm not good enough. That is a construct. And that's what a belief. See, people always talk about belief systems. I have no idea what a belief system is, but I know what and
Belief is.
everybody
It's just
says it.
become a trend. Yes.
Yeah.
You have to tackle your belief systems. Yeah, we've all fallen for it. I
And I
have.
don't know.
I've been one that does. I'm trying
Yeah,
to figure
everybody
out what the
does it.
system is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a belief. It's
Mm-hmm.
life is hard. Money is scarce and hard to get. I don't fit in. I'm not good enough. And here's the thing. I'm going to say this twice. It is impossible to not believe something you think you saw.
You saw, you felt,
It is impossible.
you
No,
heard.
it is impossible to not believe something that you think you saw. So if somebody said to you, Dr. Alisa doesn't wear glasses. What would you, if any of you have seen her, she does.
She
And
does.
so you say, well, yes, she does. And they say, no, she doesn't. You'd say, of course she does. I saw her wearing them. They could not convince you that she doesn't wear glasses because you saw her wearing glasses. So in the personal growth world, right, you
Mhm.
can do affirmations, right? And you're going, I'm good enough. I'm good enough. I'm good enough. I'm good enough.
But I saw that I'm not good enough.
And as long as you think you saw it, it's not going anywhere.
So, Shelly, quick question because I said, I heard, I tasted, I smell, and you said, and I love that. I love when I have a misunderstanding and I'm able to catch it because other people do the same. You said what you saw. Why not what I heard? And when I asked the question, when you said I'm like she's right because if Shelly tells me Dr. Alisa wears glasses, I'll go, well, maybe she don't because I never saw her. I'll question it, right? See how quick that was?
Because if you hear it, you can say, well, maybe I heard wrong.
Wrong.
So maybe I heard wrong. Maybe she didn't really say that. But if you see it, there's no question.
We're
There's no
done. We're
question.
going to fight. I'm going to fight with you because I saw her.
Right. Our feelings, I'm not going to
Mhm.
get into this because it's confusing to people.
This is going to be another pot.
All of your feelings come from the meaning you give events.
Mm,
And the meaning you give events generally come from your beliefs. So
period.
you believe men are dangerous. That's your belief.
Mhm.
Men can't be trusted. Men are dangerous. And
Mhm.
a man looks at you like, just looks at you. You go, he's going to hurt me. Or, oh,
Yeah.
here goes. So the meaning, if you believe dogs are dangerous and a dog comes into the room, you'll give it the meaning dog's going to hurt me, right? If you believe I'll never get what I want and somebody says no, you give it the meaning, see, I'll never get what I want. There it is. So the moment we give meaning, we have a feeling, right? If you give it the
Yeah.
meaning, something's dangerous, you're going to feel fear. If you give the meaning that I'll never get what I want, you're going to feel sad, right?
Mhm.
So events don't have meaning. Meaning's in your
Right.
mind. So that's
Meaning
why I
is in your
say
mind.
it's not about your feelings because your feelings come after you conclude, after you create
After
beliefs.
you create the beliefs. And that's what I had a few people ask me. Well, the question they ask is where do thoughts come from? And I want to ask you that so we can hear your response to it. Where do thoughts come from? Because we talk about think, speak, do, become. What is your answers to where do thoughts come from?
Only one place, your head, your mind. All thoughts. And thoughts are meaning, right? Meaning is what I know for
Mm,
sure. You know, she didn't
mm,
kiss me. That means she doesn't like me anymore. Or they didn't call back. That means they're not going to hire me. Or the stock market is down. That means I'm going to go broke.
be
You
broke.
know,
Yeah.
yeah. So thoughts, which beliefs are thoughts, right?
That's what I was going to say.
Your mind. We
Yeah.
look at the world. So I'm sure you've all heard the expression at this point, we're meaning making machines.
Yep.
We
Yep.
make meaning all day long.
That's all we do. That's all we
And
do.
meaning is in your mind, it's not in events, right? And all of our suffering comes from the meaning we give. So when you talk about a belief gets formed in the past. And it's our beliefs that run us. Meaning gets formed in the moment, and it's the meaning that creates our feelings. Our beliefs create our behavior,
Saviors.
right?
Yes.
You believe what makes me good enough is achieving things, or what makes me good enough is working hard. Guess what you're going to be doing? right?
Working hard and achieving things, no doubt.
Our lives are consistent with our beliefs.
So, a huge part of my audience, I know because of some of the questions I've seen come in, they struggle with visibility, public speaking, leadership presence, fear of judgment. Why is it that fear is so persistent even when people are objectively success?
Yeah. So it's so funny. I had a CEO recently, and he had 1,200 employees. And he said, "Jelly,
Mm,
every time I walk out to speak to them, I'm a nervous wreck." And I said, "You do know that the minute you walk into the room, they're nervous wrecks."
it's a good, I'm pretty sure they are when you're that top level. Yeah, they're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And here's why. Again, if you believe what I'm going to harp on this one belief because it's your audience are successful people. If you believe
Mm-hmm.
what makes me good enough is being successful, a successful person walks in the room, you don't see yourself as successful, you're going to feel not good enough, right? Now, I want to talk about fear of public speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, fear in the country.
In the world, yeah.
And then I'll talk about all fear. So, underlying fear of public speaking is the only pattern that has the same beliefs for everybody. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I once asked my daughter when I was working with fear, it used to be a niche until I got so bored I couldn't stand it anymore because it's so
She did a
easy.
whole coaching certification on dealing with fear.
Yeah, so easy to get rid of. Uh,
Yes.
and uh, so it has the same beliefs for everybody, right?
Mhm.
I once asked my daughter, "Do you have a fear of public speaking?" And she looked at me and she said, "What?" And I said, If there were 1,000 people in the room, would you feel fear?" And she looks at me and she says, "Will they have weapons?
What? Talk about fearless.
Why would I be afraid? Speaking to people is not scary." Okay.
Wow,
Here's
I
what.
love that. You raised her right.
Yes, I did. So, and you should see her speak. I mean,
I'm gonna look her up.
she's she's a killer. Yeah,
Oh my goodness, that's
she's the
awesome.
force of nature, Miss Britt Lefkoe.
Mhm.
Here are the beliefs. There are 5 most common beliefs. I'm not good enough. I'm not important. Mistakes and failures are bad. And I don't care if you've read every business book on the shelf, you still have the belief. If you do,
Mhm.
if I
Mhm.
make a mistake or fail, I'll be rejected.
Yes.
I'm not, what I have to say is not important. People aren't interested in what I have to say. Now, here's the belief that changed my life. What
Mm.
makes me good enough is having other people think well of me.
What makes me good enough is having other people think well of me. Why?
That's the belief most people have.
That's the general belief when you put it that over, yeah, that crowns everything.
What
The other
makes me
5,
good
yeah.
enough is having other people think well of me. So if I believe that, where's my
Mhm.
focus? Is Alyssa,
On
does she like me? Do you like me? Are you
Did
listening?
she
And if
notice?
I'm speaking,
How many people viewed my stories? How many people viewed my yeah, yeah.
yeah. So when I got rid of, I used to walk away from conversations going, did I say the right thing? Did she like me? Did I do the right
That's a
thing?
torture, yeah.
Torture, torture. What was I going to wear? Was I going to be too dressed, underdressed? I'll call my friends. I'll see what they're wearing. When I got rid of that belief, you guys, I call it my Martin Luther King Jr. because I really was free at last.
Last,
Free
yes.
to be my authentic self. New York accent, what you see is what you get. Big, bold. That's who I
Yes,
am. And you know
yes.
what? When I got rid of that belief, you guys, and I realized I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
And I don't want to be.
And neither is
And that
anybody
gives
listening anybody's cup of tea.
I'm saying I'm not everybody's cup of tea either, and I don't want to be. I'm not for
Yeah,
everybody.
but here's what happens. Here, if you look at your lives, you're gonna see what I'm saying. Somebody comes over to you and
Yes.
says, "Oh my god, you are so wonderful, Alisa. I love your podcast, and you're so smart, and you have great guests," and you go, "I'm good enough." And then somebody walks over and says, I don't appreciate what you said on your show because you
Yeah.
said something and blah, blah, blah." And you go, "Oh God, I'm not good enough." And then that person comes in the next day and says, "I was crazy yesterday. I found out my husband was cheating on me. I really love you. I think your podcast is wonderful. I think you're wonderful." And you go, "I'm good enough. I'm not good enough." Your neighbor
So
comes
you're
in and
doing
says they
this all
like you.
day. Whoop.
And it's just like, but here's the power.
Yes, give
The
it to us.
only thing that's changing is the voice in your head.
Mm,
You're not changing. You're the same person. So how could you be good enough or not good enough based on what other people think?
come on.
And when you get rid of that belief and you get, it's okay. I like to wear sleeveless clothes and I lift weights and I have very pumped arms, except I have this,
You have
right?
skin right under there too. Me too. Right
And
there.
chicken
But I
wings.
got some good muscles there, though.
Right. And so I don't usually read all the comments under the things that I do because I just don't have time. And I should because I should answer everybody.
You
So
can try.
I got I got a Google alert and I was speaking in front of a big room and I didn't know where I was and I clicked on it and I see all these comments and I just start reading them. And of course, I love her. She's wonderful. She's amazing. And then all of a sudden it said, "Well, I'm glad she has the confidence to wear a sleeveless dress." And I
Haters
just
gonna
went,
hate, potatoes gonna
I was
potato.
going to say, it was just like, and it's funny because afterwards I thought, maybe they really meant that. Maybe they thought it was cool that I had the confidence to do it. I don't think that's what they.
That's not what they meant, but that's a choice you choose to give meaning to. You
And I
chose
don't
what
know what
meaning
they
you wanna
meant.
give it. And we never gonna
Exactly.
know. The
But
truth is we're never going to know. Because I feel like there's an air of someone who really could possibly think it's really cool that you didn't feel bad to not to cover up your arm because it don't look like Michelle Obama's arm. Because she's the lady that we talked about arms all our own life.
totally.
And she just made a she just wrote a book called The Look, and I watched her first interview with Robin. I forgot what her name is, but Robin. And she said that the first thing people will do when it comes to women, when we are successful and we're building amazing and we're making sure we're impacting people around the world, they're going to attack the way we look. And I'll tell you what, in this world today, whenever I'm scrolling on social media, it is always women saying the worst things about women and their body parts, their dress, their lipstick, their hair. And it's usually because they don't have the nerve to step to the world on a microphone in their imperfection. And that's a them problem, not
And
a me problem.
it's Robin Robbins, and I am obsessed with Michelle Obama, obsessed, and that
Yes.
this woman is
Yes.
great icon of a human being,
Yes.
that we're talking about her arms and that she's wearing sleeveless clothes. Are you
Yes.
fucking kidding me?
Hating me.
It's just, but again, if you're in a place, and what's interesting, what I found fascinating about her is she didn't wear her hair the way she's wearing it now because
Now,
she
that was
didn't
fascinating.
want to distract from her
Her
message. She didn't want to give people something else to talk about.
to talk about.
So, and now she's like, "I'm out." She is,
And you know
yeah.
what? You know what I'll say? I'm so glad she said that because Shelly, as a woman, a woman, ethnic, multicultural woman with curly, kinky hair. One of the things very before I even stepped out and started speaking and doing global work, or I was just doing my corporate job, but I noticed when I let my hair curly out and I was out in public, I was treated differently.
Mm.
People were more distracted by my hair. They're like, "Oh my gosh, your hair's so beautiful. What do you put in it? How do you keep it so curly?" And it just I'm trying to get stuff done in a bank, and it's a conversation. But no one asks me about my hair when I wear it down like this. So I decided that that's the hair,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
became sort of a brand, and it's easy to do. I just bundle it up. I curl it once, and then I have to, because I work out all the time, it's just easier to maintain. If I did do braids or do what Michelle does, it's a lot more work. So I mean, again, we went up, but that's looking at how people respond to you. It is their belief systems. And you can't take ownership for that. What you have ownership is the meaning you gave, and that's your example in your response. It's the meaning you give. You're like, maybe she's just proud of the fact, maybe she's just impressed by the fact that you just always tilt the ball over in your favor. And you can only do that when your inner belief is, I'm worthy because I'm alive.
And really believe that, not just say,
Not
because
just
when I
say
ask
it.
people, "What makes you worthy?" or "What makes you good enough?" or "What makes you important?" nobody says, "Nothing, I just am." They tell me
Wow.
something.
Yes, it's always attached to. So for me, my true response is because I'm here. Hello.
And I wanna, and yeah, and I
Is here
wanna,
wherever I am. I'm here in my bedroom, I'm here in my bathroom, I'm here in my car. I'm
yeah. And
here.
I wanna say something, Alyssa, about high achievers.
Yes.
It's there's nothing wrong with the game, high achieving. It's when you define yourself by your achievements and you think it
Achievements.
means something about you, or like Richard Branson is somehow more important than you. You know, I've worked with celebrities. I don't talk about it. And people say to me, "But
Yes.
Shelley, that gives you credibility." And I say,
No, it doesn't.
"Why? Are they more important than my other clients?" It's
Come
like when
on.
people get up there and they go, "I work with this one, I work with that one." It's like, "So what?
Or
Who
I'm coached and
cares?"
mentored by this one.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you
So
would see, it's like I met some very influential people in our thought leadership space, Shelley. And I don't people I have colleagues who are like, "Why didn't you post that? Why didn't you post that?" And I'm like, "Why? I post motivation. I post mindset transformation. That's what my page is for. It is not
I love
brag, look
you.
at me.
I think you
What
are
does that mean
so
about me?"
awesome.
Thank you. And I did, and it's funny because here's the thing, like you said, you got hit in the head and spirit told you this is what I needed to do. God never told when he told me what I need to do, he never told me that you get to be better because you meet Shelly Lefkoe, or you met Barack Obama, or you had dinner with Melania and Donald. No, he never said that. He said you have to go tell these people, and that's it. He did not say that that's gonna be whether you felt good or you felt bad or you felt it had nothing to do with it. So I'm not gonna try to create and focus on that. I believe, and I always tell people, you know how what you think about yourself when you're in the presence of someone who's acclaimed to be great. This is me. Hello, Mr. Trump. It's wonderful to meet you. And I got a few things I gotta ask you. I got a few things that I have questions about. I'm curious. And you know what? I could have asked this on social media, but now I have you here. Who better to ask? Let's go. Well, hello. That's
So
probably what he could be,
let's
because my questions
change
are
the
not going to be
station.
different for Shelley. I know, but
Yeah,
I'm just saying to people. No, what I'm saying is he is the dawn of the land right now. He's in the highest office in the USA, right? So most people are intimidated when they meet people that are in power
that's right.
or has been. I'm not. I feel like I have the opportunity now to learn something that I didn't know before. And that's it. Or give value in a situation that I've never been in before. That's my thought. I don't think that it's to make me better than the other person who have never been in their presence. And that's my belief system. But that's because I believe something my parents put in me is that every room and space I'm in is that I get to make a contribution, not because I'm greater or lesser. And I
And
feel like that's why.
I love that, and I wanna say something about that. I once sent out a holiday card, and it's perfect for this time of year, well, although I don't know when this is gonna air. What you say interests people. What you do
Mm,
maybe interests people.
mm.
Who you are inspires them.
Ooh.
What you do interests people. Who you are inspires them. Now, I wanna tell you a story. When my husband died,
Mhm.
we had 100 people in our home, and they would still be sharing if I let them. But
Mhm.
what every single person said was
Mm.
this: he was the most non-judgmental person I've ever met. He was present and always made everyone feel special. He had integrity.
Mm.
He was the most loving man I ever met.
Ever met.
My daughter, my other daughter in Hawaii, stood up and said, I not only knew I was loved unconditionally every day of my life,
Mm.
but to never feel judged. That was my father. Not one person, you guys, talked about his accomplishments, not of which he had many, many, not one person. They
Yes.
talk about who you are.
And
What,
how
you
he
know,
made them feel.
it's so interesting, if you Google somebody famous like Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
it's either gonna say he contributes to people, he gives, like, what's his name? Oh god, the one who owns the movie theaters, I can't think of his name right now, he's a basketball player. But
It's just not
Michael
coming to me. It's
somebody said, or if they look you up and they say he's an asshole, he's not nice to people,
yes.
he's rude, then he's an asshole, and that's how he's remembered. He was the greatest
Yes.
basketball player that ever lived, but he was an asshole, and
Yes.
that's the thing. Nobody at your memorial is gonna say, "Oh, she made or he made $50 million,
$50 million.
or he was a
Come on.
billionaire." It's like, who cares? You look at
No one
billionaires,
cares.
Bill Gates is gonna end malaria and actually does something with his money that's useful.
Yes. Right.
Jeff Bezos, they had to embarrass into giving money away. You know,
Yes.
we're in a
Yes.
world where children are starving, and
Yes. And
he's
we're
got a boat the
stockpiling
size
billions
of a
and billions and billions.
so
Never can
you
understand it, but
so people are gonna remember who you are, not what you
mhm.
do. Who you
That's
are
right.
is how you be as a friend. When I die,
Yes.
what they're gonna say about me, "She was an amazing friend."
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I have a friend,
Absolutely.
I have a friend named Marcy Shimoff. Some of you may know her from your Year of Miracles.
Mhm.
When Morty died, she said, "I will be there to remind you that you can still be happy and have fun." And I looked at her and I said, "Are you kidding? I'm never gonna be happy or have fun again." And she said, "Yes, you will."
Yeah.
And she
That can be
called and she
so
said, "I have tickets to see Diana Ross." And off we went. "I
oh,
have tickets to see the Beach Boys." And off we went.
off
"We're
we
gonna go see
went.
Trevor Noah." And off we went. And 10
Oh my
years
gosh.
later, we just drove an hour and a half to see Zarna Garg. And guys, if you need to laugh, just
Oh my gosh, I love this.
go to YouTube and look up Zarna,
Yes.
Zarna.
Yes.
Hilarious.
She is. I was under a rock when it comes to her. I discovered her in a clip on Facebook, and I started following. I even made a comment, and she liked my comment, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, she liked my comment, which I'm usually not someone who cares,
Yeah.
but
No,
she actually saw what I felt, and it's
she's
to see her
brilliant.
interact like that. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. I
So
would love to
so
see her.
that's who Marcy is, right? She's
Yes.
also very successful. She's a number 1 New York Times bestselling author, and she's a
Best-selling
blah, blah, blah,
author,
blah, blah.
yeah.
But who she is to
She's
me,
your friend that holds you accountable for your joy and your peace and your happiness.
and it's our beliefs. Some of us wanna make a lot of money, and if you
Yes,
have a belief money is scarce and hard to get, or rich people are evil, or I have to step
yes,
on people to make money.
to get
We
it.
have religious beliefs, Catholic beliefs. You feel guilty if you have money, and you should give your money to the church, and all of those beliefs. They're just beliefs. Money is
Yes,
green energy, and you can attract it by getting rid of the beliefs in the way of you doing that. Some people grew up poor and have the belief, I don't deserve, because they never got
right.
anything as a kid. Little kids don't say, well, my parents don't have money. That's why no, I don't deserve. The other kids have a new bike. I don't. And when you get
Never
rid of
deserve.
those beliefs, everything is possible. Everything.
So, Shelley, I would be remiss if I did not ask this question for you to walk us through the system or whatever you call it, the framework that you use to help your clients and those amazing rooms that you step into to disrupt, no, first, probably to disrupt, but to eliminate limiting
Yeah.
beliefs.
So I don't have time, unfortunately, in a
To
podcast,
go
for the
to
most
go
part, to
through
go
all of it.
through.
No, the
I can give you the
high view.
steps. So here's
Yeah.
the thing. If you go, I'll tell you what the steps are. But if you go to eliminatebeliefs.com, you can eliminate a belief for free. Now, it is going to take you to a
Wow.
program that allows you to eliminate 19 of the most common self-esteem beliefs, including mistakes and failures are bad and what makes me good enough and all of
You
those
give
beliefs.
that to the world for free. You see, I know my people when I see them. This is why you're so successful because you're not gatekeeping the essentials to get people going in direction. We really show up to help change the world.
Yeah. So we make that available um, for people who can't afford sessions or don't want sessions
Yes.
or want to do things on their own. It's not the specific beliefs that cause every problem, but it's the ones
Problem,
that
but it's a start.
underlie most. So we look at a pattern,
Mm-hmm.
what we don't want or what we want, right? And so you say, I don't stand up for myself. Then you ask, what might you believe? What would somebody have to believe who didn't stand up for themselves? And it could be anything from I'm not good enough to it's dangerous to stand up for yourself. If when you were a kid you spoke up and you got hit or punished or whatever. Well,
Yeah.
I want to say something about fear in a minute. Let me go through this. So, what is the problem? What belief do I have? Then we look for the source of the belief. Where did that belief first get formed? And it's almost always in childhood. Okay.
It is. Yeah.
There's business beliefs, but those can't come later.
Yeah.
Money beliefs, life beliefs, people beliefs generally come in childhood. Self esteem beliefs
Mm-hmm.
always. Okay. So, what's the problem? What belief do I have? Where did that belief come from? What happened? And then we look at alternative interpretations. So, my parents criticized me all the time, and I concluded I'm not good enough. And then we say, well, one interpretation is you're not good enough. Another interpretation is they were trying to teach you and they were lousy teachers. Another interpretation is you weren't good enough by their standards, but by Auntie Shelley's standards, you would have been fine. And maybe you
Right.
weren't good enough as a kid, but it doesn't mean you'll never be good enough. And maybe you were good
Right.
enough and your parents didn't have parenting skills. So we
Right.
brainstorm, money is scarce and hard to get. Well, maybe one interpretation is it was in my house as a child, or it is with people who are uneducated, or was before the internet, but So there are other interpretations that would explain the events. And
Yeah.
I work with sexual abuse survivors.
Oh my gosh, that one is such a big one.
It is the most powerful thing that I do because in one session you'll get rid of beliefs.
Interpretation.
Like, yeah, it's all
Right.
interpretation.
It's all the interpretation.
Very good, Dr. Alyssa. That's very brilliant. It's not what
Thank you.
happens to you. It's not what happens to you that screws you up. It's what you
The
conclude
meaning you
about it,
give to it.
the
Yes.
meaning you give to it. Okay, so you're so fun. Okay, so now
Thank
we
you.
look at
I
alternative
could talk with you all
interpretation.
day. I wanna come over and have tea and watch a movie.
I know. We have to end soon because people tend
Yes,
to
I
keep
know. Yeah, we're
way longer
coming
than
down
you
here.
wanna listen. Yeah.
Yes.
So, what are some alternative interpretations? Now, here's the juice. Doesn't it seem
Mhm.
like as a child you saw your belief?
Mm.
Yes, I saw money is scarce and hard to get. I saw life is hard. I saw my Black clients, my African American clients, I have to try twice as hard to be just as good. I saw you're selfish if you put yourself first. I saw that. Then the next
Mhm.
question is, did you ever really see the belief? Did you see,
Mm.
I'm not good enough, I'm not important, I'm not worthy, I'm damaged goods, I'm powerless?
Mhm. Mhm.
No, you saw specific events. You saw somebody do something to you that you wish they hadn't done. You saw yourself be
Done.
criticized. You saw your parents struggle. That's what you saw. So, where has that belief been all these years? So, the next question after did you ever see it? No, I never saw it. What did you see? Now, the
Mm.
next question is what does it mean that that happened?
There's the culprit.
And the answer is nothing. Not to say it didn't have consequences, not to say it didn't matter, but it doesn't have meaning.
Meaning.
My husband died. That was terrible. I hated that he died. I wish he didn't die.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I'll be alone for the rest of my life or I'll never be happy again or I'm going to starve to death. Events have no meaning. So now, doesn't it seem like the events made you feel your belief? And everybody says, yeah, it did make me feel that. Events that have no meaning cannot make you feel any. So if a man walks by and it
You
has no
are
meaning,
creating
what are
it.
you going to feel? If a man walks by and it has no meaning, what are you going to feel?
Thing. He's
Nothing.
just going
If
by.
you give it the meaning, he's dangerous, what are you going to feel?
Afraid.
If you give it the
And I
meaning,
wanna
he'll
attack him.
protect me. Yeah. But if you give it the meaning, he'll protect me, now you'll feel safe.
So
So
if
the
uh-huh.
events don't make you feel anything, the meaning does. And then we have everybody close their eyes and imagine giving the same events different meaning. So if you gave the same, my father is a critical man, he's insecure and he has to put people down to feel better about himself. If you gave the events that meaning, you wouldn't feel not good enough. And if you didn't
Hey,
feel it then, you wouldn't feel it now.
that is mastery.
Now I'm
You
leaving you
oh
with this.
gosh. Uh-huh.
Alyssa, I'm giving this for you because I don't talk about this usually in podcasts. What I
Mm,
get people to see is you create your beliefs. Your beliefs create your life.
yes.
So if you
Yes.
create so if you create the beliefs that create your life, what does that make you?
You're the creator. You're the author. You are the producer. You're the editor. You are the
Creator.
publisher. You
Let's
are
stay
the
with
boss.
let's stay with
Yes.
creator.
Mhm.
You are the creator of your life. And I put people in an altered state where they have an experience. You came into this world as a little ball of consciousness
Yeah.
before you created any distinctions about yourself, life, or people. Do any exist in that space? What's possible? What limitations do you have as the
Mm.
creator? What's
Only the ones
missing?
you give yourself.
No, no. Everybody,
No?
just because she said that, I have to do this. Close your
Delete
eyes.
it.
Everybody close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. You come into this world as a little ball of consciousness. Before you create any distinctions about yourself, life, or people, do any exist in that space? What's possible?
Everything.
What limitations do you have in that space? That's who you really are.
If you guys said that, you know what you know, you know. If you know, you know, because everything was so infinite.
That's right. And when I ask people, what does it feel like right now to create yourself as the creator of your life? They say it feels infinite or free or, expansive. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's nothing. There's just all this. I mean, it's almost like when I was a child, I guess for some people it might have been a paper, but for me, is having my cars. People would think I love dolls, but I didn't. Don't let the red lipstick fool you. But when I had all my little cars and those little green little soldiers that come in the pack with the Tonka trucks, and there weren't furniture there. So quick thing, I promise we're wrapping. But my mom, traditionally before Christmas, they do something in my culture where they put away the house. So they would move all the furniture up against the wall, they'll put up the rugs, and they'll take down the curtains and the walls, they'll take all the pictures frame down, and they'll wipe and clean everything at the beginning of December, late November. And they will leave it that way up until just before Christmas Eve. But then they'll revarnish the floor. They'll even refurbish the furniture or get new furniture, put new vinyl in the kitchen. If they need a backsplash in the kitchen, there will be new ones. There'll be new curtains. Everything's as much as they can do and afford new. So when they put the house back together, now it looks so fresh and beautiful, and they put up the Christmas tree and all the things. So for us as kids, me, I had all the room on those wooden floor to play with my toys. My trucks and my cars could spin and do the flips they do and So for me, the joy that I felt in that moment was when my mom's house was put away and I had all what
Wow.
seemed like infinite space in the living
That's
room to create
crazy.
with my toys and play with my siblings. So imagine being the creator. That's it. You all
That's
should do that
crazy.
exercise. And every time you find yourself stuck, go back to Shelly's voice in this section right here. And if it's way bigger than that moment, then you absolutely need to call her. So, Shelly, here's a good question for you. You have helped over 150,000 people. You've obviously created massive success, partially, I'm pretty sure, with your wonderful and beloved husband. And now you're doing it with yourself and the team that's around you. What does success mean to you?
That's such a great question.
Thank
For
you.
me, success is having a life that matters.
Mm.
It's loving your life. Um, Having a successful life is knowing that when you die, you will be proud of the life you lived. I love that. I just made that up.
I love it, but I
I'm
love
so
it because I believe and so my when I'm that's my core belief, and so when I'm asking myself, when I live daily because I never know the time, if today was my last day,
yes.
would I be successful? Would I be because you see, we're always telling ourselves we have more time to create the
Yeah.
life.
So my friend Janine Roth says,
Uh-huh.
if you knew how many breaths you had left in your body, how would you spend them and who would you spend them with? Think about
What I
that.
learned. So when I started the podcast, I had a message. I wanted people to really tackle the beliefs within them. And I had a corporate job, single woman again, after being married for so long. And I had to have a corporate job to maintain my economic system of my life and my home. And so when people would want me to come speak to their organizations or their companies, it's going to be business hours. And I could not, that was my thought, my belief was I could not gamble steady income for maybe someone will hire me this month for a consultation and pay me $10,000. So I wanted to get that message out. And I was doing so much philanthropic work, helping people. And everywhere I go, no matter how old, how successful, how beginner they were, it was the beliefs. And for me, it was always and still is my beliefs that depend how far I go, where I wouldn't go. And so I said, I'll get in front of this mic and I'll tell people everything I know and I'm learning for about 10 to 15 minutes. And here we are with you.
The story of my life.
Right? And so, what I want our listeners and viewers to know is go back to that infinite. It's only you have all you need to create the life. So when I sit here on a Saturday and I take your time, Shelly, almost 2 hours, if I die tonight, I would have lived. The 132 episodes we have up now are pieces of me and a journey
Mm,
I've been able to walk with people. Because on a single woman's budget, I couldn't go to the parts of the world I want to go to yet. I couldn't speak to the people and be in the rooms as much as I would like to yet. Now, granted, I go to rooms as many times as I could. And even in the Walmart, if there's a mindset transformation moment I get with a mom, with a woman, 60, 70, or even a 10-year-old, I give that because you don't know how many breaths you have. Do it now
it's
and be
beautiful.
happy with it, and you'll be successful.
Beautiful.
Shelly, tell us how to connect with you, your favorite way to connect with with the
Okay, so
audience
my
listening here.
favorite way is if you go to at Shelly Lefkoe on Instagram and you put in Alisa 25, um, will send you a link to the free belief. And
Yes.
yeah, and if not, you can go to Lefkoe Institute, LEF as in Frank,
Okay.
KOE, institute.com. And you could find out about working with me, being trained. We train coaches and therapists and people who want to learn how to do what we do. Yeah, that's the best way.
So I saw that and I am going to come through only because what I don't know, I don't know. That's it. What I don't know, I don't know. I'm going to Lefkoe Institute.
If I told you how many podcasters became my clients, you would not believe me. In fact, I was on a podcast called The Unconventional Life, and I am going to speak in New Zealand a week from tomorrow at the
Yay.
Unconventional Life event.
Yes.
So podcasters love this.
And you're just over the border from me, so we will catch up, and when I have events out here, you're coming here too. So I'm
Uh,
looking forward to having you a part of our community, and we welcome you, and we thank you for the gift that you are to the world and the
you.
transformation that you've been engineering, and I just we're so grateful. We're so grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Shelly.
you. And thank you for everything
To
you bring.
everyone, yes, and to everyone, all her links are in the description wherever you're listening and watching to this. Please reach out and let her know on Instagram that you heard her here and this episode has been transformational to her, to you, and then use Alisa25 and you will get it's ALISA 25 and you will get the freebie that she has brought for us. To the listeners, awareness is not enough. Insight is not enough. If you want a different life, a different level of leadership, a different experience in your life and in yourself, you have to remove what's been silently shaping you. And those are your beliefs. Keep mastering your mindset. Think, speak, to become. We'll see you on the next one. Bye now.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening.